I've always been fascinated by the origins of our beliefs, and today, I'm going to take you on a journey through time. Let's start at the beginning. Well, not the very beginning, but right after the Great Flood. In the aftermath, as humanity began to rebuild, something interesting happened. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with paganism? Well, it turns out that this post-flood world was the perfect breeding ground for new religious ideas. Babylon wasn't just any ancient city. It was the epicenter of a spiritual revolution. At its core was a trinity: a father god, a mother god, and a son god. This triad became the blueprint for pagan belief systems across the world. It's like they stumbled upon a formula that just worked, psychologically speaking. Now, let's talk about a name you might recognize: Noah. After the flood, his sons played a crucial role in repopulating the earth. But it's Noah's son Ham and Ham's son Cush that we need to focus on. You see, they were the ones behind one of the most famous structures in religious history: the Tower of Babel. Building this tower wasn't just an architectural project. It was an act of rebellion. They were literally trying to reach the heavens, to make a name for themselves. Enter Nimrod, a figure who's central to this whole story. Nimrod was Cush's son, and he became the first person to be worshipped as a god king. This guy was a real piece of work, a mighty hunter, a powerful ruler, and the founder of the Babylonian Empire. But more than that, he was the key figure in early pagan god worship. Nimrod didn't just rule, he introduced occult practices and set himself up as a divine being. But not everyone was on board with Nimrod's god complex. Noah's other son, Shem, and his followers, they were having none of it. Now, brace yourselves, because this is where the story takes a wild turn. Nimrod's reign came to a brutal end when he was killed and, get this, dismembered. Enter Semiramis, Nimrod's wife. After Nimrod's death, Semiramis didn't just fade into the background. Oh no, she stepped up and became a key figure in continuing pagan traditions. She claimed to have given birth as a virgin and positioned herself as a goddess. It's like she took the tragedy of Nimrod's death and spun it into a new religious narrative. Remember that trinity structure we talked about earlier? Well, it's time to see how that played out. In Babylon, you had Nimrod as Baal, Semiramis as Ishtar, and their son Tammuz as the sun god reborn. But here's the fascinating part. This pattern repeated across different cultures, just with different names. In Egypt, you had Ra, Isis, and Horus. The Greeks had Zeus, Hera, and Apollo. The Romans, Jupiter, Juno, and Mars. Even in Norse mythology, you see echoes of this with Odin, Frigg, and Thor. It's like this Trinity concept was so powerful, so resonant, that it kept popping up everywhere. Now, let's fast forward a bit. After the death of Tammuz, something interesting happened to pagan worship. It didn't disappear, it transformed. Paganism went underground, evolving into what we call mystery religions. These were secretive cults, complete with hidden knowledge and elaborate initiation rites. You know, it's kind of like how secret societies work today. There was this air of exclusivity of knowing something that others didn't. And that secrecy, it made these cults even more appealing to some people. It's fascinating how human nature doesn't really change, even after thousands of years. Some argue that pagan structures seeped into other religions, including Christianity. In Roman Catholicism, some see echoes of the old pagan trinity: God the Father, the Virgin Mary, and Jesus, mirroring the father-mother-son structure of ancient paganism. Many of our modern holidays and customs have roots that stretch back to these ancient pagan practices. December 25th was celebrated as the sun god's birthday long before it became Christmas. It's like we're living in a world full of historical echoes, often without even realizing it. The history of religion is complex and often surprising. The key takeaway isn't to abandon our beliefs, but to understand them better. By examining the past, we can gain clarity about the present. Remember, knowledge is power. Understanding our spiritual roots can help us make more informed choices about what we believe and why. So, keep questioning, keep exploring, and who knows what other fascinating discoveries you might make along the way.